The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views and positions of the agency.
Welcome to DYCD Next Gen. I'm your host, Ryan Cooks. Our monthly podcast will feature the very latest on everything DYCD has to offer, and we will go right to the heart of the story, speaking to young people about the issues they face in their daily lives. Here, I'm gladly joined again by Doris, Jaylien, and David. And because it's February, our topic is going to be Black History Month, which means a lot to me because I just want to appreciate the achievements and accomplishments of African Americans, and I just want to celebrate it. And me and my culture, we've contributed a lot to the world for many decades. So just to see our achievements celebrated in such a positive way, it's very important, and it really means a lot. So I want to start off by asking Doris, what does Black History Month mean to you?
To me, I feel like Black History Month means like just as much. It means a lot. I feel that, I'm Afro-Latina, so coming from a background of being both Latina but also looking the way that I do, it's always been like a mix of trying to balance it out and trying to find where I identify with. But growing up in a very predominantly Black neighborhood and going to a predominantly Black school, that culture just has stuck to me, and it has shaped the way that I communicate to people and how I form my friendships and the way that people see me as well. I try not to just limit myself to just being Latina because I feel I don't conform to a certain to that community, but instead I've been embraced by the community, and people have treated me like family, even though I felt like a foreigner when entering those spaces.
So you felt isolated, basically.
Yeah, at times I did, because my family is we're not too keen on that. It's a very mixed culture. Dominicans are very mixed. We come in all ranges. So I feel that being in America and growing up in those schools, in those spaces, my friends have welcomed me and told me you're just like us, your skin tone's the same as us, but your ethnicity doesn't mean you're any different.
You have great friends. I know. It's just good to have a circle of people who are just very accepting of all cultures and skin colors and ethnicities and whatnot. I'd like to bring attention to David and Jaylien. Now, I know, just tell a bit about where you guys are from and how do you guys celebrate your culture and heritage?
It's important because I feel like we could celebrate, acknowledge the achievements of everybody and what they've done in the past and how it influences us today.
And I would like to agree with Jaylien, as it's important to recognize our history and our cultural significance to the world.
Where are you from again?
I'm Dominican and Guatemalan.
That's your identity. How would you describe, what does it mean to you?
It means a lot to me, I'd say. I'd like to say I'm proud to be from it's important to recognize your roots and history and recognize where you're from, as that makes up a lot of your identity.
I want all of us to share at least one figure from our cultures that mean a lot to us. I'm going to say, I feel like it's a basic answer, but Barack Obama, because that was such a big defining moment in American history, the first African-American president. I remember I think I was in third grade in 2008. I think I was 7, 8 years old. And I just remember our school was just informing us on the election and the race, and just it was a really fun time. And then when you won, we had a little party and everything. It's very nostalgic for me that I was able to witness that moment in history, because a lot of people never thought that day would come. So yeah, Obama is definitely a person that sticks out to me in my culture that I greatly appreciate.
For me, it would be Elizabeth Acevedo. She's she's an Afro-Latina poet writer. She created the books Clap When We Land and Poet X, which is really good, and like her poetry like really speaks a lot to me because it shows like the different, like it shows her background and how she was raised, and I feel like it influences or like reflects on a lot of us.
What is her poetry? If I can ask real quick, what is her poetry like go into?
I know that Clap When We Land, it was more of like a book where this Dominican, her father, he was Dominican, and he had 2 families, and like none of them knew until he passed away in a plane crash, and like it basically like reflected how one daughter felt and like how the other daughter felt, and like it was like everybody had like a different reaction to everything.
As for me, I think that a recent figure that I look up to more is Ayo Edebiri. We talked about her before. She's an actor. She's a Black actor. And I just love seeing her on screen because she's so like different from other actors.
Very quirky.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's from The Bear, right? That's the show?
She was in The Bear.
I couldn't get into that show.
Really?
I tried like 3 separate times. I just couldn't get into it. It was just slow.
I think
it was so slow.
It's really.
I thought it was slow. I tried like 3 episodes and I just like I didn't like the cousin. He was annoying. He had a very I couldn't stand the cousin. Like
I'm a big The Bear advocate. Like that's my show. But
okay, maybe I'll probably try to give it another shot.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll watch it for her.
Definitely, because
I really like Ayo. Yeah.
Not slow at all. But she was in Bottoms as well.
Okay.
And I think I identify with her a lot just because she's like really quirky and she's a different like representation of what Black women are in media. Like I feel like there's a lot of representation of like, you know, rappers and like they're very like, ghetto and stuff like that. But she's so like quirky and like she's like quote unquote like the weird girl that people in high school like don't want to hang out with. And I feel like I identify with her. I'm like, you know what, like me too. I'm like that quirky girl.
Eccentric. Yeah, it gives off, you know, it's representation, you know.
Yeah.
You don't really see a lot of Black women like that in media. So yeah, she's definitely like she definitely stands out. So yeah. Her she's always like every time I see trailers for movies, she's always like in something. Like she stays booked and busy, like in everything.
All the time. She's in SNL and she does her skits. I think she's amazing. I think like just her entire being and her like jokes and everything. I'm like,
right,
girl, you're gonna make it. She's already making it now.
Yeah, absolutely. She's great. She's great. We got to make sure she sees this. We got to start sharing around,
adding her in the comments.
Yeah, for real. And what about you, David?
A historical figures I would say is the Mirabal sisters, also known as Las Mariposas. They were 3 sisters who stood up against the dictator Rafael Trujillo in DR. And they resonate with me because they really stood up for what they believed in and had the courage to go against like the norms at the time under the dictatorship. It was like very like sexist.
It was like a rebellion, right?
Yeah. 1960s, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, in the 60s. Okay. Yeah. So for me, growing up, Black History Month was celebrated. Like I went to a predominantly Black public school. So like, it was always being talked about. We always did projects for it. They would like post, famous Black people like on the billboards and everything. Like it was very much a big deal in most public schools, predominantly Black. I just want to know, how did you guys first hear about Black History Month? Like, did you learn about, was you taught it in schools? Did your family teach you? Did you read about it in books, television? Like, where did you first learn about it or like hear about it? Or like, when was you first exposed to it?
Well, I learned about it in elementary school and like as the years went by, but I feel like I got a deeper understanding of what it is and like what Black History Month like really means when I got to high school, because like my school, as you said, I go to a public predominantly Black school, and they really emphasize Black History Month. Like I know we have to do a project for like in social studies, a project, and it's like you either do a podcast, you do this or you do that, but they don't want it to be like on like the main figures, but more like exploring like who else made a contribution. We do big like a sale, and it's like a soul food sale as well, like towards the end of the month, to really just bring it all together. And yeah.
As for me, I went to school, was in a predominantly Black charter school, and obviously it's like rooted in everything like we learn, because it's like this is the student population is mainly consistent of like African American kids and like all races, but mainly like Black kids went to that school. So obviously it's like really rooted into like our education. And I remember doing a project, just like Jaylien said, like they didn't want us doing like a project like basic Black figures that was like in mainstream. We had to do more digging. And I remember learning about Madam C.J. Walker, and I feel like that's one name that like stuck with me forever. Like her name is just, I feel like it's so cool. And then the history of like what she has done for Black women, I'm like, yeah, like this is like really, like I didn't know that, but you know, learning at such a young age and like middle school about these things is like, it sticks with you in your head.
Oh, absolutely.
Like this is something I should probably remember for like later on in years.
As for me, I was also taught about it in elementary school, and even though like I mostly went to like predominantly Hispanic public schools in the Bronx, like the teachers and like curriculum still made sure to like educate me on like the significant achievements of African American figures in America, and also spotlight other figures, such as like in English I would be reading like books made by like famous Black authors.
So I feel like this is like more of a fun question. Do you guys have a favorite, and you can give another example, like a favorite Black actor or Black actress, and it can be from your culture too. It doesn't have to necessarily be Black. For you, David and Jaylien.
I don't know if you guys watched Grey's Anatomy, but the lady who plays Miranda Bailey, she's not only in Grey's Anatomy, but like she's in different shows and movies. I feel like she's such a great actress, and like everything she does is just like, I don't know, she's just very funny, and like she's like really short, so like her character and attitude is like it all comes together. I
think if I see her face, I would know who she is. But like,
I'm trying to figure out her name. I don't remember her name, but I know she plays Miranda Bailey in Grey's Anatomy.
Isn't Grey's Anatomy? It's not like it ain't got like 30, 40 seasons. Like it's like super long.
I think it's like on its 20-something season. I stopped watching after
20 seasons.
Yes, and there's 22 episodes per season.
How much story they gotta tell? It's a hospital. Like what? They is it like new characters every season, or like some leave, some stay?
Some leave, like, some stay. Like, and then there's like, it's not only like really just the hospital, but like it's also like what happens with them internally. Some people, they have relationships and they work together, and it's like stuff like that. Like, you know, Miranda and Derek Shepherd, and like one of them died, and it's just a lot.
That's crazy. Yeah, I see so many memes about it just being like this super long.
It is long
TV series. I'm like, what? Like, it's a hospital. Like,
it might be the longest TV series. I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure it is.
I'm sure there's much longer, probably. Isn't like The Simpsons, like, it's like, that's super long too. That's been around for a long time.
I feel like forever it's been around.
Yeah, it's still ongoing too.
And like those memes where it says like, oh yeah, they predicted the future and stuff like that.
Yeah, they've been around for such a long time. Yeah, but yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good pick.
I don't know his name, but he's in Get Out, the main.
Oh, Daniel Kaluuya?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
The main character in Get Out.
Yeah, he's cool. I like him. He's British, right?
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he? I didn't know that.
The main character in Get Out. Yeah, he's British. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, like, a lot of like those actors, like you'd be surprised, are like British. Yeah.
I liked his acting. I rewatched Get Out recently. I think it's gonna be like one of my favorite films. Like,
it's a good movie.
Just everything about it. I think it's important, like, for people listening to watch Get Out during Black History Month.
Yeah.
Like, it's
and
like,
Nope is pretty good too. Nope, if you've seen it. Nope is good too.
The entire Jordan Peele, like, thriller like series. All
trilogy,
of his,
whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Awesome. Amazing.
Yeah. His movies are fire.
I would probably say for me, like black actor, I'd probably say Will Smith, just because of the show, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and the movies Men in Black and the Bad Boy series.
Oh, I like the Bad Boys movies. Yeah. The recent one, the one that just came out, was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Yeah. I still like Will Smith. I don't care about that whole keep your, like, nah, man. He's one of the greatest of all time, to be real with you. Actually, I think one of my favorite actors, he's also in Get Out, Lakeith Stanfield. He's in the beginning of the movie where he gets kidnapped.
Oh,
he's like one of those like weird like black actors, but like I like him in a lot of the movies that he's in. I think he was like in Atlanta and this one other movie he did with the same actor, I think, called like Judas and the Black Messiah, which I recommend. So yeah, he's one that like sticks out to me. This month is also Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, and we have a guest today that's here to talk about it with me, and her name is Tracey Thorne. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Ryan. Hello, everyone. I'm Tracey Thorne. I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships and Data Analysis at the Runaway and Homeless Youth Unit at DYCD.
So let's just get right into it. So I just have a few facts here. So dating violence is more common than a lot of us think, especially among teens and young adults. About 1 in 3 U.S. teens will experience physical, sexual, or emotional abuse from someone they're in a relationship with before becoming adults. I know this is a heavy topic and there's a lot to discuss, but I also want this to be a very informal discussion. So like my first question to you, Tracey, is what are some signs that someone is in an abusive relationship and how could they seek help?
Yeah, that's such a good question. And I thanks again for having me here. So I'm going to flip that and say that this is what a healthy relationship has. And so so you have independence, respect, everyone gets to define their own relationship. Your boundaries are respected. There's a lot of communication. You feel safe. You feel that you can trust your partner. And that you feel supported. And so at any point when you're not feeling those things, it's time to have a conversation with your partner to see, if you can come to an agreement.
And like, what are some ways that like teens could support each other if they suspect somebody is going through an abusive relationship or is experiencing domestic violence?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that listening without interjecting when you're hearing your friend talk about some of the experiences that they've had, believing them, supporting them, telling them you're there for them. They may need to talk about this multiple times as they're kind of weighing whether this is a feeling that's valid or, and it's hard because you care about the person. But you should not be hurt by someone that you love. Right.
Absolutely. Have you ever known anybody who has been through like a domestic or like abusive relationship?
I have had experience with that, and I also before I came to DYCD, I worked with the Human Resources Administration Relationship Abuse Prevention Program, and with my personal experience and through that program, I think that it takes a little bit of time to realize that you're in a potentially abusive situation, and that's where a lot of those conversations begin. Like, do you think this is okay if, he or she did this or they did that to me? And that's how the conversation starts. And if you're already thinking that way, it's possible that you may need to take a look at your relationship, and then it's how does that person respond to your request for clarity, communication, respect. That's how you can tell, their response to you. If they're supportive, then it's just a bump in the road that you can work out.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like that's super important. Like, you just need the support because a lot of people that are going through these situations don't have the proper support, whether people aren't there or they're there, but not as much as they should be.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's super important. What role do you think parents and trusted adults play in helping them like get through this?
Yeah, it's the same. It's a similar role that you mentioned before, like how can your friends help? Parents also should listen to their children, believe them, don't question them, don't question their feelings, just hear them and understand what they're hearing. And then, there is help available. Sometimes you don't want to disclose the fact that you're having a tough time in your relationship to your parent or to your friends. Sometimes, people are embarrassed. They don't want to admit that they may be in an abusive situation. So it's important to have maybe like another avenue for support. And then if you are attending high school at one of the RAP schools, there's a RAP counselor in the school to support you, and that information's on the website as well.
What's a RAP counselor, if you don't mind me asking?
The RAP counselor is they're social workers who are well-versed in working with teens and supporting teens in the prevention of relationship abuse, and also to support young people who may be experiencing relationship abuse.
I think one thing that very much affects like relationships between teenagers is social media. What are your thoughts on how social media affects the way teens communicate with each other and like how it leads to like negativity and like animosity between them?
Yeah, that's such a important point. And in general, there's a lot of safety concerns around, TikTok and social media that's been in the news recently. But also, I think that there's different ways that social media can be used to control your partner. For instance, threatening to release photos or videos, or, antagonizing comments. And this isn't necessarily social media, but, excessive texting, asking to track where you are all the time, that also could potentially be abusive.
Why is it important to raise awareness about teen dating violence? And what can teens do to help spread that awareness?
It's really important to ensure that teens are able to have, a healthy self-respect, healthy respect for others, and relationship abuse tends to erode your self-esteem. It tends to make you not trust yourself, and so and it's just not okay. And it's really about following the continuum from like the Me Too movement. It's just about being respectful to everyone.
Absolutely.
And ensuring that people are safe. And so if teens are talking to each other and that's the social more that you're emphasizing, then suddenly it won't be okay to have dating violence. It's just, we'll move forward. Yes.
Exactly. That's definitely moving forward and fighting for like a better future in regards to that.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you would like to say or any advice you would like to give before we end this episode?
I would just like to say that if you feel that you're in an abusive relationship, talk to people you trust, talk to your friends. It's okay. Like you said, 1 in 3 people have experienced it, and there's help out there for you.
Thank you so much for that, Tracey. For more information on DYCD, check out nyc.gov/DYCD, or be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Join us again next month for another episode of DYCD Next Gen. Once again, I'm Ryan Cooks, and thank you for listening.
For more information and resources, visit the website of the Mayor's Office to End Domestic and Gender-Based Violence or the National Domestic Violence Hotline at thehotline.org.